Okay, so in this part of the challenge, you're going to be learning about something called average rate of change. So in your notebook, go ahead in the next um, empty place, write down the title, average rate of change. And we're going to go ahead and read this together. So it says, rates are used to describe how one quantity is changing in relation to another. So for example, if you drove 60 miles per hour, miles are changing in relation to time, right? Miles an hour are related. Okay, for a function, the average rate of change is defined as the change in the dependent variable y divided by the change in the independent variable x value for two distinct points on the graph. So this is a lot of words. I want to illustrate to you what it means. So in your notebook, you're going to go ahead and write down this definition of the average rate of change. So write down the definition of average rate of change. Pause the video while you do that, and then when you're finished, you can keep the video going. Okay, so to show you what the average rate of change looks like, we're going to go ahead and draw a little picture. So we have two distinct points on the graph. That's the kind of the important first step, right? We're looking at two different points on a graph. So if I go ahead and draw a graph, I'm going to go ahead and do I'll just do like a XY axis here. And we're just going to put 2 points on the graph. It doesn't really matter where they are. We just need 2 points to illustrate this average rate of change. So I'm going to put a point. Right here at 2, 2. Okay? Then I'm going to go ahead and put another point somewhere else, maybe 10, 8. Okay? So 2 points on the graph. They could represent anything. Maybe it's like for 2 pizzas, you'd spend 2 hours making them. But maybe you get really fast at making them. So for 10 pizzas, you only need 8 hours. It could be really anything. But 2 points on the graph, 2, 2, and 10, 8. Now it says it's the change in the dependent variable, the y value. So we need to find the change in our y. So if we take a look, we can see that between 2, 2 and 10, 8, there's a change of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So our change in our y is 6 units. So we can write that down. Change in y value equals 6. Divided by, it says, the change in the independent variable, our x value. So we're going to look at the change in our x. So between 2, 2 and 10, 8, there's a change of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our change in x value is 8 units. So it says that our average rate of change is the change in y divided by the change in x. So it's change in y. So let's write that down. Average rate of change equals the change in y divided by change in x. So we found that already for our particular example, which is equal to 6/8. Okay, so pretty straightforward, with 2 points on the graph. Now, this is one way of describing average rate of change. This is the official definition. But the question I would like for you to answer now is, what is another way to describe average rate of change? Okay. So go ahead in your notebook, brainstorm a way that you think you can describe average rate of change to somebody. Pause the video while you think of some ideas, and then when you're finished, keep the video playing for the next part. Okay, so this next part says, to illustrate average rate of change, consider the following statement. Mario started in Vacaville and drove to Davis, a distance of 28 miles in 30 minutes. Most of his journey was spent driving on the freeway, and he stopped in Davis. So Mario was driving from Vacaville to Davis, which is 28 miles, in half an hour. I would like for you to answer the following questions in your notebook. So you don't have to copy these down. Copy the questions. Just write your answers, okay, in your notebook. So the first question is, what was Mario's, oh, his name is Macario. Sorry. What was Macario's average speed in miles per hour? So again, look back at your change in y over your change in x. Sketch a possible speed versus time graph. So what's going on with his speed over time? And then you don't really have teammates to compare your graph to, but you can go ahead and write down what you notice. And then take a look, did Macario drive at his average speed the entire trip? Explain why. And think about, do you think he ever drove the average speed of 56 miles per hour? So you're going to talk about this in your notebook. You're going to write down what you think. So take it one step at a time. My advice is to kind of draw a graph. You've been practicing drawing graphs for different situations for a couple weeks now. Try to draw a graph of what you think is happening with Macario's trip. Miles, speed, that's what's happening with his speed, what's happening with his miles per hour. And then when you're finished with all your work, take a photo of your notebook and upload it here on Dream See Do.